Hi everyone, my name is Angeles, and today I'm going to be talking to you a bit about my capstone project with One Michigan for Immigrant Rights. So there was two main aspects um, to my capstone project, which had to do with fundraising. I started off by trying to get a bit of a handle on our merchandise. So we kind of had shirts lying around everywhere. Didn't really have anything set in stone of like prices or like how we would go about marketing or like anything of that sort. They were just ordered and they were never able to be sold. So I started off by setting myself just a goal. I figured since I was going to be doing 30 hours with them, I didn't want to overwhelm myself. So I started with just a small goal of 8 shirts or sweaters and 6 keychains. They also had these little keychains lying around that they're about this size, and they were clear, so you can put a little photo inside. So going back to merchandise, I started by creating a Google form with all 3 designs of the shirt and the 2 shirt designs and the 1 sweater design that we had. After I created this form, I went ahead and started posting it all over my social media, along with pictures of the designs for anybody that was interested. At first, I didn't have as much people really interested in it, but as I started to post more frequently and reach out to people and like really start like just advertising a bit more, I started to see more people willing to buy it. The keychains kind of came along around the end of the project because that is when we ended up finding the keychains. How I went about doing that is I took the small size, I went online using Google Drawing, and I went online and I basically created the size. It was a lot of like printing and then resizing and just going about it. I decided to put the One Michigan logo on one side of the thing. And since it is an immigrant rights organization, and it has to do a lot with undocumented immigrants and issues that they face, the keychains had a variety of things on them. They could be personalized as well. If somebody had a specific quote that had to do with immigration that they didn't see from our examples. So some of the things included abolish ICE, stop separating families, defend DACA. DACA is the deferred action for childhood arrivals, which is a big issue that the undocumented community is facing, because if that program gets basically rejected or declined, then that means that all the people under DACA, instead of now having like some sort of right, lose all of their rights to where they would go back to being undocumented immigrants. So I wanted to kind of focus on that, and we didn't have anything like that on the shirts. So that's why I did 2 different keychains for any DACA recipients, with Defend DACA. And there was other designs that we had on there. So that's kind of how I went about the keychains, because I didn't have much time to kind of distribute them, which is why I had only put a goal of 6 keychains to sell. They were a little bit cheaper, like way cheaper than the shirts and the sweaters. So people definitely like reached out, but due to like whether it was like too far away to drop off or things like that, I was only able to sell 4. I sold it 1 for $3 or 2 for $5. The keychains in and of themselves cost 50 cents to make. So I didn't want to sell them too high. I figured with a $2.50 profit, with selling 6 of them, that would be like around $12 to $15. And I was already doing other things. So once I figured out merchandise, that was just kind of a weekly thing that I would post and keep updated. And when it came to giving out the keychains or the shirts or anything, I wanted to make sure that the company was really like represented in it. So they had these like One Michigan buttons and stickers and things already there. So I have an example here of basically what I would do when it came to that. Since I did start doing dropouts around the holidays, I went to the Dollar Tree and I got little boxes like these. And you open them up, and then you have your red tissue paper. Then you open them up, and here is the One Michigan shirt. And then inside of it was a little thank you card for helping us out with our house. And I figured this would be a good way to kind of thank people. And I didn't want to just hand them a shirt, especially because I know that like branding and like making sure that people continue to support you is very important. So that is why I went about it that way. And with the keychains, it was a similar process. Also, little boxes like these, and I would tissue paper them. And then I would just put them in the little like jewelry thing, and with a little thank you note, and that was it. And people loved it. They said thank you, and that it was like really good packaging, and that they were just happy to help. So these are like the kind of cards. It was just like either a flash card or if I had envelopes lying around. I do a lot of arts and crafts, so this is another reason why I decided to go about it this way. And the second aspect of the capstone project that I had was small businesses. So this year, because of the pandemic, One Michigan actually, this is their seventh annual year doing this project. But according to the director, they usually have enough money fundraised by the time that holiday helper comes around. But this year, because they were trying to renovate their undocu-safe space, a lot of that money was being like going towards that. And then on top of that, it was a pandemic. So whereas usually like 500 kids would sign up, they had 1,200 kids this year. So I was asked to kind of help more with that. That's kind of where most holiday help, that's kind of where most small business profits went towards. And like to make sure that that was covered, and then anything that was left over would be used for the house. So I'm gonna kind of run you through how it went. So small businesses, because they have asked for donations in the past, there was kind of already a letter in place that the director gave me, printed out with some flyers of the holiday helper. And so what I did was I compiled the list of small businesses in the community, along with cell phone numbers or email addresses, or if they already had like a website where you can ask for donations and what they require. I also wrote all of that down on a spreadsheet. And then after that was done, I decided to go ahead and call first just to see if they were doing donations, and then I can drop off the paperwork in person. So I did that with a couple of them. And then one day I decided to simply get in my car because this is my community. It was way easier to navigate myself, and like I felt more comfortable like talking to business owners because like the chances are is that I probably already knew them. So I kind of went around the community and I was just like, hey, I'm working with One Michigan right now. This is our holiday helper. And a lot of people were really eager to help. We did get like donations of wrapping paper and people that were willing to volunteer and things like that. That wasn't necessarily one of my goals, but that is definitely an extra thing that happened on top of like me trying to get donations. I went to one specific furniture store in the community that has been here for many, many years, Dantos Furniture. And the owner actually told me that a lot of people in the community wanted to try to do a business event with a lot of organizations. So he emailed me the information for the Zoom meeting, where they would all be meeting. I found it that it might be easier for me to kind of just be in the background and tell the director about it, in case I wasn't able to be as active. But thankfully, this network or this connection led One Michigan to be able to partner with more organizations. So we started getting people reaching out that they wanted to adopt families. So for example, Jesse's Kids was one organization that wanted to adopt 6 families. We also got local churches that wanted to adopt like a family or so. And other people were just reaching out or they would donate toys themselves. So this was a big like help to One Michigan, and it started helping us gain like some sort of traction. Some business owners did say like, hey, you know what, I don't have the money right now, but if you follow up with me, that's also fine. So I did definitely follow up with local businesses that asked me to. Sometimes they just simply would be like, okay, no, I'm sorry, there is no money, and that is totally okay. And then other ones wanted to try to do a toy drive. So basically, I got a huge cardboard box and I wrapped it with wrapping paper, and then I put our flyers on the outside. And then somebody would be scheduled to go pick up all of the toys that were donated at the local businesses, which was also really helpful. Going back to monetary donations and things of that nature, I one of my friends works at an organization in the community that is very well known for helping in the community, but they usually have the organizations that they already help on a yearly basis. But I decided to still reach out. So I asked my friend if he would be willing to drop off a letter to his boss because they were really close, and I figured that would be an easier way to connect. And it actually was. His boss ended up calling me later on, saying that he was definitely looking forward to donating and that he was very excited. Asked me a little bit more information about One Michigan and what they do and who they are. And then he ended up donating $500, which was not at all what I expected. That in itself was already my goal to begin with. So it was just really overwhelming in a good way. So that is how that went about. We were also doing follow ups with from the little group that wanted to help organize for the Christmas time with E&O Supermarket, and it had been a back and forth for a few weeks where they weren't sure how money was doing or they weren't sure what they could spare. But fortunately, after like a couple of times of following up and reaching out to them, they finally got back to us and they were saying like, okay, so yeah, we do have the money because usually who we donate to isn't going to do their program this year anymore, or things just kind of started happening. And this was like a really big shock to me, but we ended up getting like $4,000 in donations on top of gift cards to give to families. So we got $250 Visa gift cards and other gift cards for like other stores. And that would be like something that we could just hand out to one family, so like that's the way that they could do their Christmas shopping, where they can like get whatever they needed and it'll just be easier for them. So this was already really overwhelming, really like, wow, my original goal was 500 and more ended up happening on top of that. So I was just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to kind of be a part of this. And with that donation, we were able to, instead of just helping the original 700 kids, we were able to pull all of the families from the form that signed up to help over 1,200 kids. So just working with the organization was just really incredible. It was a great learning experience. There was definitely a lot of networking involved, a lot of like follow ups, and it was really different to navigate it also as well in a pandemic, because it was a lot of like phone calls, Zoom meetings, things of that nature. But it was definitely really like eye opening and allowed me to see that like community work definitely is something that I want to pursue after graduation. Um, and the final thing that I ended up doing was Instagram bingo. So this is kind of I'm not sure if it's a marketing technique or like a fundraising technique that's used often on Instagram, where you basically create a bingo board. And then you have your bingo board just like this, and then you decorate it. So I put like a One Michigan logo and like holiday stuff or undocu safe space stuff. just to get any donations. And so then everyone would have like a different dollar amount. I decided to go with smaller numbers like ones, twos, and fives because most of my followers are either college students or around my age. And I know if I were to put like $20, like people wouldn't be able to donate. But maybe a dollar or two, that seemed more doable to my audience. So I did these bingo cards, and my original every bingo card like all together was $20 if I filled out one bingo card. And my original goal was to simply fill out two bingo cards and then just be like, okay, that's great. But just as everything else, it actually ended up working out way more than I thought it would, and I ended up raising $70 in bingo cards, which again was really amazing, really great. This was able to help on top of this was able to go solely to the undocu safe space as well as anything that we made off of the shirts or the buttons. So all that together, it was like about 150 to $200 from other donations that I had also gotten from applying to like Oriental Trading Company gave us $20 because I sent in an application to receive help during the holidays. So it was like about $200 that we were able to have, and this actually helped us for we were getting new flooring in the undocu-safe space, and we were also trying to redo the porch. So this was just like really helpful in like a way that I did not expect for only to be working there to only be working in the project for 30 hours. And it was definitely an amazing learning experience, and I would do it all over again. Um, so yeah, that's basically my entire project and what I have been doing for the last for the last couple of months through my capstone project. Fundraising was a lot of fun. It went way better than I originally expected, and I'm just really thankful to have had the opportunity, especially because helping the Southwest Detroit community means so much to me. It is the reason that I am pursuing a bachelor's, and it is the reason that I am going to college, and helping in my community definitely made a world of a difference to me. And like helping them with Christmas and helping them have a safe space helps me. So it was just an amazing experience, and that is basically how I went about doing everything. But yeah, just to go a little bit more in depth about the specific um, the specific flyers that I created, I ended up using Canva. The director gave me a Canva login. I wasn't too familiar with Canva, so I got a little like tutorial to figure out kind of how it worked. And I just basically chose a regular template, took pictures of all of our shirts, took pictures of anything that we had designed, screenshots of anything that there was, and I just, whatever, they already had like the colors for their brands. So I just would use those colors for the text. Add a little bit of elements of like Christmas or DocuSafe space. I would also post any videos that they had regarding the DocuSafe space and what it meant for the community and for the teenagers that are usually there. And that's how I went about using Canva. I thought it to be pretty straightforward once I got kind of the hang of it. So my flyers weren't like too overly like well designed because I definitely was a beginner. But they did get like the point across, and they were really helpful. And I also was able to manage the social media. So I became one of the admins for their social media page. So whenever there was anything going on, I could post there, or if anybody was helping out, or if people were messaging us about donations and things, I could reach out to them there. So yeah, it was just a really amazing experience that I look forward to hopefully doing again one day, either through the same organization or through a different organization. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.